Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Moby Dick, Chapter 2, A New Roommate. In no time at all, I was sitting down to supper. It was a very good meal with meat and potatoes and dumplings. It was the first good meal I had had in a long time. I looked at the group of men around the table. Were any of them my mysterious roommate? When I asked the landlord, he shook his head. Just then, a group of very loud men entered the inn. It was the crew of the Grampus. The ship had just landed after a 3-year voyage. They were all noisy and excited as they ate and drank. I sat in silence, listening. They put on quite the show while talking over one another. I was very entertained. After dinner, I waited in the lounge area with the landlord. I was curious about my missing roommate. Where could this man be? I asked the landlord. Was he always stay out this late? Oh, no, the landlord said. He's usually in early and up early. I guess he's having trouble selling his wares. His wares? What do you mean? I asked. Trinkets, beads and treasures and the like that he's brought back from voyages, the landlord said. This town is so full of such stuff, though. Too many sailors trying to sell things. Do you think he's trying to sell them at this hour? I asked. It was already midnight. Hard to say, he replied. He's never been this late. Might not return at all, I suppose. With that, we decided it was time for bed. The landlord took me upstairs to the room and let me in. The bed was quite large and would certainly fit 2 men comfortably. I was still wary about sharing the bed with a strange man, but decided the landlord was right in guessing he was gone for the night. Even though I was quite tired, I tossed and turned for some time before falling asleep. Then, just after drifting off, I was awoken by footsteps in the hall. I lay quietly as the door opened. A large man stood in the door frame. He walked in and set his candle down the corner of the room. I said hello so he would know I was in the room. He did not reply. When he turned to look at me, I saw his face in the candlelight. My word, I've never seen anything like it. At first, I thought he had been in a fight. His face looked blackened and bruised. It took me a moment to realize they were tattoos, black squares of ink, decorated his entire face. He took his fur cap off and laid it down. When he took his shirt off, I saw that his body was covered in the same tattoos. I thought of escaping through the window, but we were on the 2nd floor. Also, I was not a coward. I'd never seen a man like this before, but that was no reason to be afraid. That is, until he started to attack me. He suddenly jumped up onto the bed. He began to push and poke at me. I struggled to get free. Who are you? He grunted. Tell me who you are. I called for the landlord. Peter Coffin, come quickly. This man is attacking me. In only a few moments, the landlord was at the door with his candle. There's no need for fuss, the landlord said. Queeg won't harm a hair on your body. Not harm a hair, I shouted. Look at him, he's trying to hurt me. But even though as I said those words, I noticed that Queeg was sitting back quietly against the wall. He was smiling to himself. I started to feel embarrassed that I had caused such a disturbance. I'm sorry you were surprised by Queeg, the landlord said. I thought you understood he was a native from New Zealand. He's a good fellow. He won't try to scare you again, will you, Queeg? No, the harpooner said. No more troubles. Now back to bed. He said to me, it's time for sleep. I quickly realized I had been unfair. I had made too many quick judgments about this man. He put on a show because he knew I was frightened by his appearance. He had no intention of hurting me. We both turned in, and I never had a better night of sleep in my life. Okay, that's the end of that chapter. See you next time.